Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're taking a really hard, honest look at the world of affiliate and digital marketing. We are basically going to evaluate our own business practices with a high-energy, no-holds-barred breakdown of what actually separates a legitimate, thriving enterprise from, well, a fragile house of cards. And we're pulling all of this directly from some incredibly eye-opening source material that challenges the very foundation of how a lot of entrepreneurs operate out there.
So, let's dive right into it. Are you a scammer and you don't even know it? I know it stings a little, right? But this uncomfortable question is absolutely crucial for digital entrepreneurs to ask themselves. A lot of really well-intentioned people get swept up in business models where they unknowingly adopt practices that the outside world views as highly suspicious. So if you've ever felt like your hustle is just totally misunderstood by people, this is exactly what we need to unpack today.
All right, Section 1, the hard truth.
Let's talk about that friction you might be facing out there. If you're hearing this or feeling this, you know the exact intense agitation that comes with it. You've got a legitimate opportunity. You absolutely know there is real money to be made, but when you present it, people reject it. Or worse, they straight up label your opportunity as a scam. The source material points out that this often happens not because the product itself is fake, but entirely because of how the opportunity is being presented to the prospect.
So how do we fix this? Well, it requires a massive shift in identity. You aren't just an affiliate, and you certainly aren't just a recruiter. You need to become a resolution specialist. That is your ultimate goal. A resolution specialist doesn't just blindly chase a commission. They actively identify someone's problem and direct them to the exact solution they need. If your mindset isn't anchored in actually solving problems, you are walking a very, very dangerous, scammy line.
Moving on to Section 2, the scammy approach.
Let's actually look at what that wrong side of the line looks like with a real-world example. Imagine a physical product. Let's say it's a $100 weight loss supplement. The company offers a really lucrative payout, a 50% commission for every direct sale you make. That's $50 right in your pocket. But there's an extra incentive, right? A 25% Tier 2 commission, meaning if you bring someone else in to sell the product, you get 25% of their sales too. Now, the structure itself is totally normal in affiliate marketing, but it is a massive trap for the wrong mindset.
Here is where the roads totally diverge. The scammy focus looks at that supplement and completely ignores the weight loss benefits. Like, entirely. Instead, they just pitch the opportunity to make a quick 50% commission. They tell their friends, hey, sign up under me, and we'll recruit more people, and they'll recruit more people, and we're all gonna get rich. The legit focus, on the other hand, finds people who actually want to lose weight and sells them the supplement because it solves their specific physical problem.
And that brings us to a quote from our source that just hits the nail on the head. If you take the actual product, the weight loss supplement in this case, completely out of the equation and only focus on the money changing hands through recruitment, you have basically turned a legitimate product into a backdoor money grab. You're trying to solve someone's lack of money by asking them for money so they can ask other people for money. I mean, that is literally the essence of a scam.
Which brings us to Section 3, providing real solutions. So how do we flip the script here? Let's shift our focus over to the digital product space, because that's where so many online entrepreneurs operate today. Digital products are amazing because they often have incredibly low barriers to entry. Take a $7 entry-level affiliate marketing training, for example. Because it's digital and has literally zero overhead, the creators will often pay out a thrilling 100% commission. You sell it for $7, you keep $7. It's just an incredible hook to get people into a legitimate business ecosystem.
But, and this is a huge but, that scammy mindset can kick right back in immediately. A marketer thinks, wow, if I just blast this link everywhere and get 100 people to pay $7, I just made $700. Look, if your entire pitch is just telling people they can make money by referring other people to a $7 link, you are still operating like a scammer. You are completely 100% ignoring the actual value of what that training teaches.
Section 4, the digital skills advantage. Because listen, the real wealth in this industry, it is absolutely not in a $7 recruitment fee. It's in the education. A legitimate digital product actually teaches you how to do email marketing, how to host webinars, how to use complex website builders, and how to master direct messaging and follow-ups. These skills are your true, highly valuable assets. Once you learn these, you aren't just an affiliate anymore. You're a highly capable digital marketer. Let's look at the massive difference in how this actually plays out. On one hand, you're hustling day and night, bugging your cousin Larry, trying to convince him to buy a $7 money scheme. On the other hand, you actually learned how to use a website mega builder from that training.
Now, instead of bothering your friends and family, you walk into a local brick-and-mortar business that desperately needs a modern website, and you set them up on a $100 a month platform where you earn a recurring affiliate commission. See the difference? You just solved a real problem.
And you know, this is exactly how you build a massive business ecosystem. Local gyms need people through the door. Physical product sellers need email marketing campaigns. Mom and pop shops need follow-up systems. You can use the exact tools you learned as an affiliate to build their infrastructure. You are now a true resolution specialist, creating a genuine, sustainable business model rather than just relying on a super fragile chain of recruits.
All right, let's bring it home with Section 5, Climbing Success Mountain.
Look, you can't just teleport straight to the top of the mountain. First, you start at the base. You master those basics we just talked about, maybe with that entry-level course. Second, you lean into the community. Our source material mentions communities of over 140,000 members out there, including 8-figure earners that you can actually model yourself after. And finally, you prove you can be trusted with the basics before you scale up to the big table. As they say, you do not get invited to the VIP room if you don't know how to act in the lobby.
Which leaves us with this one absolutely vital question to ask yourself today as you evaluate your daily grind. Take a hard look at your efforts over the last week. Are you just building a fragile, easily broken team of recruiters trying to make a quick buck? Or are you taking the time to master digital skills, provide real value, and build a highly profitable business of problem solvers? The choice between a scammy hustle and a legitimate empire is entirely in your hands. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I will see you next time.
They keep telling you, stay motivated. Watch this. Listen to that. Get inspired. But what happens when the video ends? When the music fades? When nobody's clapping, watching, or waiting for you to win? What moves you then? I used to run on borrowed energy, quotes, speeches, people hyping me, yeah. Felt unstoppable for a moment, then I'd crash, like it was never in me. That's the problem with external fuel. It burn quick, don't last, don't rule. You dependent on a source outside, so when it disappears, so do you. I was chasing feelings, not building fire, waiting to feel ready instead of climbing higher. But readiness ain't a mood you catch, it's a discipline you wire. So I had to ask myself something different. If nobody ever told me keep going, would I answer that honestly? I realize purpose don't scream, it whispers. It ain't in the crowd, it's found in the mirror. It ain't in applause or validation checks. It's in what you do when there's nothing to flex. Motivation temporary, purpose permanent. One phase away, the other's inherent. You don't wake up feeling it every day, but purpose don't care how you feel anyway. It moves through you even when you're tired, even when life feel misaligned and wired. It's that quiet push you can't explain. I say do it again through the doubt and pain. So I stopped asking how do I feel and started asking what's real, what's mine to build, what's mine to create. That's when I found something stronger than fate. I don't need a reason, I am the reason. I am the reason. I don't need the feeling, I don't need the feeling. I move with meaning. No more waiting, no more waiting, no more chasing, no more chasing. Internal driver, that's what's leading. Yeah. Now I move like it's already decided. No hesitation, no need to be guided. I built a system inside of my soul that don't break down when I'm losing control. External noise don't shake my direction. I learned to operate without the connection. Not disconnected but self-sustained. Energy internal, never drained. I don't need hype, I don't need cheers. I done built this through blood, sweat, tears. Every rep carved into my frame. Now discipline calling me by name. This is what it looked like when purpose drive. You ain't just working, you feel alive. Even in struggle there's something deeper. You not just moving, you moving with meaning. Listen close. Purpose don't shout, it pulls. It don't beg, it demands. And once you feel it, you can't go back. There's gonna be days you don't feel like it. Do it anyway. There's gonna be days you question everything. Keep going anyway. Because the ones who make it ain't the most motivated. They the most committed to something deeper than motivation. That's what's leading. When the world go quiet, when the noise disappear, when nobody's watching, that's when you find out if you really got it, or if you was just borrowing it.
They keep telling you, stay motivated. Watch this, listen to that, get inspired. But what happens when the video ends? When the music fades? When nobody's clapping, watching, or waiting for you to win? What moves you then? I used to run on borrowed energy. Quotes, speeches, people hyping me. Felt unstoppable for a moment. Then I'd crash, like it was never in me. That's the problem with external fuel. It burn quick, don't last, don't rule. You're dependent on a source outside, so when it disappears, so do you. I was chasing feelings, not building fire, waiting to feel ready instead of climbing higher. But readiness ain't a mood you catch, it's a discipline you wire. So I had to ask myself something different. If nobody ever told me keep going, would I?
I give you food for action, don't choke on the truth. This lesson I prepared was made just for you. Feast up, I'll keep serving till the pot run dry. Got enough cooking to feed the whole country, no lie. Too many flavors, you know, I got what you like. Don't start beefing with me, you won't win this fight. If you come in peace, keep your teeth intact. I got a plan to get this cake, come grab a stack. Life could be sweet, if you listen, you'll see. Food for action on a platter, served fresh by me. I'm serving knowledge on plates, got the recipe down. A blend of hustle and wisdom, that's my sound. I'm feeding the masses, no crumbs, full course. But if you bring nothing to the table, find the door. Stop acting like you got beef, it won't taste right. This flavor's reserved for those ready.
Okay, family, we are live. We are live. And once again, I want to welcome you guys back to another episode of the Hustlers 10-Minute a Day Challenge. Today is Strong 48, day 3, and we are right at 14 minutes into today's challenge. So let's start peeling back the curtain. And we know what today is, right? So today is Decision Day Wednesday. Hopefully you're ready to make a decision. But if you're not, that's okay. By the end of this live, you're going to be wanting to make a decision. You're going to be excited, you're going to be motivated, you're going to be inspired, and you're going to have the knowledge, the information needed for you to make a logical and informed decision. So that's the goal of today's live. So I'm going to give you guys a short training. I'm not going to keep you too long today. I'm going to try not to keep you too long. But, you know, everybody's concept or idea of a long time is different. So, you know, we'll see how it goes. But I want to start off pulling up one of my favorite tools, right? As usual, the new tab section. And as I was looking through the new tab section, I was seeing a couple of different articles flash by. And let me start off from the beginning, just to make sure that I'm going in order and that it's showing what it is that I was looking at. And then we're gonna dive into the training. It's gonna be a quick training, but hopefully the right person will find that valuable training. They'll find it of value and they'll be able to apply it to what they are building, right? So I'm looking at stories, and of course, you can't go a day without seeing some story about AI. That's just a given. So if you're trying to avoid AI in your daily life, you might just want to hide up under a rock because that might be the only place that AI is not lurking. So even under a rock, you might find that, AI might stick its head up under that rock and, find a way to get to you. But me personally, I look forward to seeing AI stories because that means that, you know, the need for it, the love of it, everything about it is growing. And the more it grows, the better it becomes. And the more focus people will put on it so that, you know, we'll learn something new about it. And then somebody will say, hey, how can I take it to the next level? How can I improve it? Right. So let's read through a couple of these titles, these news stories that have recently surfaced. So this one right here talks about a specific company, so OpenAI. It says a former OpenAI employee explains the open secret of AI. Companies are building systems they still can't reliably control. Hmm. Now, I believe in yesterday's live, we kind of talked about that in the article that we were, dissecting. And it was saying about how 25% or so of the content that AI delivers back to us, based off of information that, we might have fed it, it might misinterpret it, or it might lose some of the details, right? It might, start coming up with its own, you know, reality of what was shared with it. So it has a 25% rate of exaggerating or hallucinating or whatever you want to call it, right? And that was based off of them studying a few different AI models. So not just from one particular company, but from multiple companies. And the focus was actually on Copilot. So Microsoft Copilot, which is being used in a lot of applications, right? It's already embedded in, depending on what you use, if you're a Windows user, it's already embedded in what you are currently using. So let's say you make spreadsheets or use Excel and things like that. It's already embedded in Excel. It's already embedded in, Google Docs, you know, Microsoft Word and things like that. Even if you're not using it, it's possibly there. So the issue of reliability is something that, needs to be brought to people's attention. And the more attention that gets, the more you'll find that there'll be people that'll look to solve that particular problem of reliability issues, right? So let's see what else is going on in the news. So ADP, payroll services. Okay, why the US job market is so hard, especially for recent college graduates. We've kind of dissected that also in other lives, looking at different articles, right? Speaking of Gen Z, we know the issues and the challenges that they face. And we also discussed in one live a special individual who actually had a master's degree, has traveled the world basically, and has applied to over 1,000 jobs, but still couldn't find the job for them. And they had to do what? They had to turn to entrepreneurship. And specifically, they turned to freelancing, right? So it's a challenge. And the challenge keeps getting exposed. As it says here, this is a Washington Post article that was posted 3 hours ago. So the issue isn't getting any better, right? So maybe I might check out that article later just to see what exactly is going on, what their perspective is. Now, we go on and there's more AI. So it says here, I used ChatGPT's humanized prompt to fix the worst part of AI writing. All right. So what's the worst part of AI writing? For me personally, it's that generic response, that says uh, everybody this or this versus that, or, you know, most people. I hate when it starts out with that most people term because I can tell in most people's posts that it was written by AI based off of that beginning line. Most people this or whatever. So in this article right here, you might learn how to fix the worst part of AI writing. And more than likely, it's probably speaking about those situations of the generic tone in which AI writes. And I've been able to, kind of fix that in my content through, prompting, learning how to communicate with the AI, which we've also discussed that communication is going to be the most powerful skill that anyone can learn. So definitely make sure that you're brushing up on your communication skills. If it's not just for AI, I want you to start communicating with more people, having more conversations with real people, not just messaging people, but actually picking up the phone, calling people, or in your daily life, just stopping people and having conversations. It might feel weird to talk to a person, to talk to a real live person nowadays, and they might look at you crazy like, what do you want? But you need to develop that skill. And if you can talk to a random stranger and get them to engage with you on the street, then you might be able to do it a little bit better online to a random person that's scrolling your content, right? So keep that in mind. So once again, ADP payroll for small business. Let's move on. Okay, China. Okay, this right here, China and AI. So the China shock hollowed out factory towns. This professor thinks the AI shock is coming for your urban coffee shop. Now, I wanted to read this specific title because it kind of ties into what we're going to be training on. And one key word here, one key word that stuck out to me, because I had the idea before I even came across this particular title here. And I found it to be funny that, I wanted to talk to you guys and use this as a particular reference, and that is the word coffee. So we're going to get to that in just a moment. So next article that pops up is AI computing is a memory hog, and NVIDIA backed startup has an answer. So problems and solutions once again. So memory hog. So AI is hogging a lot of memory. It's taking up a lot of usage on your laptops and your processors. It's taking up a lot of uses for everything. So for your AI chips, so chip developers, specifically like NVIDIA, they can't keep these chips and these processors on the shelves. All of these things is being bought up because AI needs more computing power, more and more and more and more. And it's taking up that computing power and that memory. So, of course, with every problem, once again, if you shed light on specific problems, if enough attention gets put on it, then the right eyes will get laid on that problem, and then you'll have people that will want to come up with solutions. So that's why it's always good No matter what you think about your particular product or service, share it with as many people as possible. Make sure you share it on multiple platforms. Make sure you share it multiple times a day because somebody different will see it. And that one person might get attracted to it to the point where they say, hey, that's a great product or service. And they might have specific skills that will allow them to come up with an answer for you. They might be a major player in the industry of online marketing. They may have a huge network and they may be able to solve your problem of lack of sales. So it might take just one customer to like and love your product and for them to want to actually promote it, and you can get the benefits along with them. And let's see, one more. Let's see. Okay, so Claude's rapid growth coincides with AI exploit warning. So always some warnings. But I want you guys to keep in mind that all of these titles that we've gone through, they're what we call strong hooks. Those are hooks to get people interested in going farther and clicking on the particular page to read the article to find out what exactly is this hook really referring to. And hopefully the story, gives you some valuable insight and you're able to, learn a lesson that you can apply. Now, I'm not going to go through any more, so we're going to stop right there, right? But now I want to transition over to the training that I have for you guys today. It's going to be a short training, but hopefully it's very valuable and powerful for the right person. So I just want to zoom in just a tad bit on what we have here. In this particular training, I titled it The Hot Coffee Theory. Now, it's not a lot going on behind this curtain right here, but it's very powerful. And the information that I have to share with you is designed to help you learn how to create a profitable online business. And how you do that is by simply having a mindset shift first. So you have to have that mindset shift in order for you to be able to see valuable information and actually apply it. Apply it to whatever it is that you like and love, or you have a passion for, or that you see a problem that you can actually solve, right? So let's get to it. Start peeling the curtain back. And as I said, in relations to that article, I stopped and looked at that article title because, it it reflected back on something that, I was planning on discussing with you guys. And I was using coffee as as a symbol, as a way of conveying this message. Now they say most people in the world love coffee and tea, hot beverages and things like that, right? So let's dive a little bit deeper into it. But specifically, I want to talk to you about two concepts in life. Two concepts or two things that people duel with. And it's the difference between how the rich see things and how poor people see things, right? And everything changes once again when you have a shift in mindset. So everybody heard of the term assets and liabilities. If you haven't, then I want you to get familiar with that term, assets and liabilities. But we want to talk about assets, right? So a cup of coffee might not necessarily be looked at as a asset for you, right? Because you might buy coffee on a daily basis. You buy a cup of coffee, you drink your coffee, you get what you think that you're going to get from it, or you get what you intend on getting from a cup of coffee, right? You get that energy boost, right? You might get your caffeine fix. So let's put right here what you might think is an asset for drinking that cup of coffee, right? So you might say energy, you know, it gives you energy so that you can go throughout your day. You know, it might give you a it might give you the ability to make it through your day. So ability to perform, and specifically, performing at work, right? So in that concept right there, it becomes an asset. But then it becomes a non-asset also, right? Because, once when that energy boost leaves you, then some people, they experience the other side of it, which is the crash. So a cup of coffee, it can be an asset and it can also be a liability, right? So anything can be an asset or a liability. It really depends on how you use it or how it uses you, right? So you can get energy from a cup of coffee. It could allow you to perform at your job, and that's an asset because hey, if you don't perform, you can you can get fired. And then your financial system is in jeopardy, right? You end up losing money because hey, you lost your job, or if you don't have energy and you don't feel like going to work, then you might, hey, you don't get paid for that day. So asset it can be, right? And then we have this other cup of coffee. And I labeled this, it says non-assets, but I want to talk to you about, once again, the non-asset aspect of it. Every day you might consume a cup of coffee. You might go to your favorite store. You might go to Starbucks. You might go to Dunkin' Donuts. You might go to Wendy's. And I'm naming some places that, I go to and, they have pretty good coffee. Now, price ranges are different from each place. Now, Starbucks, I don't really go to Starbucks, but I know a lot of people love Starbucks. And Starbucks to me is a non asset because me personally, I could drink a cup of coffee and I could go right back to sleep. So, as far as an energy boost, uh, I guess for some people, it it can give them that boost. It gives them that boost. I know some people that can't drink coffee because they get the jitters. So, in that aspect, you know, a non asset of it would be, you know, jitters, you know, no energy boost, you know, and it's just an expense. You might just buy a cup of coffee just because you just like the taste of it. And that's all it really does for you. It doesn't really give you a boost of energy or anything like that, but you just like, hey, getting your French vanilla coffee, your hazelnut coffee. You like the way it tastes, and that's it. So it's just an expense and something good to drink. But also, I want you guys to start having this mindset shift. I want you to start thinking about it. We have the same product here and here. One might be an asset, the other might not be an asset. And it's interchangeable, but it's only interchangeable due to a mindset. Now, this cup of coffee right here, this right here can represent a real asset. So, in this aspect, I want to change this. I want to take the non asset off of there, right? And I want to put the non over here. And I want to do that because of this. These two items, they're both coffee, but one of them have a distinct difference. This one says coffee, and this one is just a cup. This one has somewhat of a branding on it, right? It lets you know exactly what it is. It's in a nice cup, and it can actually tell a story. Now, you don't actually see the coffee like you see in here, but This right here lets you know that it is coffee, but it also gives you something of a hook. It lets you know that it is coffee, but you don't know what's up under the lid. So this is more of a hook-based image as compared to this. You see the coffee, you know it's a cup, you know it's coffee. It's not too exciting. It's not too, hey, leaving mystery. It is what it is. But this right here has a little bit of mystery to it. Because with this cup right here, you can actually build a conversation around it. Now, your conversation could be about, hey, what could be the particular flavor of coffee up under within this cup? This one right here looks like it's just, it's a black cup of coffee. If it was whipped cream on top or anything like that, that would make it a little bit more interesting. But it's pretty cut and dry. This one, you don't know if there's, French vanilla. You don't know if there's, whipped cream up under this cup right here, up under this top. You don't know what it is. But this cup right here isn't for drinking. This right here, this cup is for marketing. And this is where it becomes an asset. So the asset is not from you consuming the product yourself. It's from you conveying a message about the product that will tempt other people to want to consume their version or whatever it is that they like and love about this particular, marketing tool, right? So let's go a little bit deeper into this because this right here can be a powerful tool if used the right way. This as an asset can lead you to having customers that are interested in acquiring energy, the ability to perform, and maybe these people have traditionally drank coffee and they've experienced a crash from it. But maybe this particular mystery cup of coffee, maybe this contains something that prevents them from having that crash feeling. But everything is about information, right? Just like that beginning training taught you. Hopefully you were listening. Hopefully you listened to that intro training where it taught you about, you know, how to convey information and how information is one of the most powerful things there is. And that's how the majority of people online are making money. You can sell a physical product or you can sell a digital product. And a lot of times, digital products will win over physical products because there's nothing to deliver, there's nothing to necessarily consume, and it's something that becomes a very powerful asset because it never runs out. So, if I had to have a shop and I had to sell you a cup of coffee, that means that I have to have an inventory of coffee. I have to have coffee beans. I have to have, a coffee grinder. I have to go through all these things. I have to actually have this real life physical cup in order to put the coffee in and provide it to you. And of course, that cup costs money, the lid costs money, the coffee costs money, the energy required to actually brew the coffee, so the electricity from the physical location, all of those things require money, investment. And, a lot of those, those type of things like that, those are the assets when it comes to a physical business, the tools that you actually need in order to complete the process. But on this side right here, when you get into digital assets, these are the tools that you actually need in order to complete the process. And they are endless, they're replenishable, or they don't ever deplete. Because this training right here, for example, I can, as I'm recording it now, it's being recorded. It can be replayed. It can be replayed over and over and over. And I don't have to record it again, right? It could be something that we call, evergreen. Something that, you know, you do one time and I share with you, and you can actually share with as many people as you want, and it'll never run out. Now, one way it can run out is, hey, if your internet service provider, if your internet doesn't work and you don't have the ability to share it, right? So there are ways, but essentially the asset itself always remains to be backed up on your hard drive. And just to make sure that that hard drive is protected, get you a backup hard drive just in case, hey, your current situation, your laptop, your cell phone, something could go wrong with that device. Make sure that you have your asset on a backup, right? So, there's things. But when it comes to making this more of an asset, that beginning training talked about the education process, educating people on your particular product or service, and specifically like the benefits of it, right? The things that a lot of people might know about it, or the things that a lot of people might not know about it necessarily, right? So let's kind of get into that. Let's kind of get into it. So back years ago, over let's say around 10 to 15 years ago, I was involved in a coffee opportunity. And that coffee opportunity is still around today. But at the time, I didn't have the right mindset in order to take advantage of it and make it profitable. I heard what people were saying. I got sold into the idea or the concept of it because, it was told to me, something real simple. Said that 95% of the world likes coffee and tea, and hot chocolate and things like that. They love either one or all of those things. And the particular company that I was part of, they had all three products. So it became something like a situation of what they call a no-brainer. A no-brainer in the aspect of, hey, this is a product that everybody wants, so it should sell. Everybody should want this, and you should have no problem selling it. But back then, I wasn't able to convey the message. I wasn't able to deliver the asset. I wasn't able to, present the asset in the form that was attractive, like this particular cup. I was trying to present this right here to people, that cup of coffee. They would see it, they would hear about it. Okay, it's a cup of coffee. I can go to Starbucks. I could go to Dunkin' Donuts. I could go to McDonald's. I could go to Wendy's. I could get a cup of coffee. Like, why should I buy your cup of coffee? Like, why should I wait for it to be shipped? Why this, that, and the third? And I didn't know how to make this same coffee go from a non-asset to me to an actual asset. Because at that point, I was drinking the coffee myself. I was, enjoying it. I liked the taste of it. It became a product that I was a customer of. So I could talk to you about the taste. Hey, it tastes good. It wasn't bitter. It didn't have any bad aftertaste like a lot of coffee brands do. It didn't give me the crash, but I didn't know how to convey the message. I didn't know how to package it in a way that it wasn't just simple cup of coffee, but it actually became a mystery, something that the person who viewed it, they would see their own end result from actually having the coffee that I was providing. Now, I didn't learn how to do that at the time. It took me some years of learning and understanding what exactly was, my job as an online marketer, or at that time, a network marketer. And a lot of the people that I was in business with, they didn't have the particular skills of marketing. They had the skills of, being able to talk it, but as far as being marketers, they weren't that. And they couldn't teach that. They couldn't teach that lesson to me. So I couldn't convey that message to, my potential customers and things like that, right? So I just want to pull up some information for you guys right here. Now, we're talking about coffee in this particular example, but I want you to understand that it's deeper than coffee. This is just an example, it's a representation of what it is that you might provide. So, your product, your service, your whatever it is that you have to offer, right? Whatever it is that you're promoting or selling, this right here represents how you turn that non-asset into an asset and how you can use it to create a profitable online business. So I did some research, right? And I probably did this years ago just to, get some information on coffee. But let's read a little bit. So coffee, liability versus asset, training angles. So coffee is one of the largest industries in the world. Most people think coffee is just a drink, but the global coffee industry is worth over $460 billion annually. Get that. That's a B, not an M. So $460 billion annual industry. Now, what that means is there's a lot of sales to be made in this particular industry for this product. Now, it's not sales that's made by one person or one company. There's how many variants of coffee, how many various companies, all with their own spin, right? But it says here, when you include retail shops, beans, equipment, subscriptions, and related products. So you could promote anything related to this particular industry, not just the beans, right? But what about the retail shops? So you think about your local store that might be a small mom and pop uh, coffee shop. Or what about the equipment, the coffee brewers, you know, all of those things. The equipment is also considered the cups, the lids. Now, I did another training, right, which you definitely need to see, you know, the pipe fitters training that I did. That training is a very powerful masterclass. You all need to get access to that because it teaches you another specific skill and how you can use this information here and apply it to the training that I did there because it tells you a specific place that you can get access to that will allow you to take advantage of all of these things here so that you can turn this, not only this particular business into a profitable business or this product, but any product that you can possibly imagine. There is a way that you can do it, but you need to watch that exclusive masterclass. And if you want access to that, I want you to comment hustle and I will send you exclusive access to that in-depth masterclass. Put a lot of work into it and it's going to give you the missing pieces to what you need to do. But let's go back to this. So what does that mean? That means millions of customers, repeat buyers, emotional purchasing, habit driven consumption. So one of the things that got me about it when I was first introduced to this particular opportunity was that coffee isn't like most other beverages. Yeah, you can drink a cup of juice, you could drink milk, you could drink water, but there's no real habit or addiction behind it. Whereas with coffee, coffee is a habit. Coffee, for a lot of people, is an addiction. A lot of people can't go a day without having their cup of coffee. Not just one cup, but 2 cups or more. So when you think about that, you have something that, yes, a lot of people like and love, and also something that people have an emotional purchasing attachment to. So it says here, that's exactly why businesses love products tied to routines. So, training point, the average person buys coffee. The entrepreneur studies why people buy coffee. And this is where this cup right here goes from being this cup to this cup. It becomes something to be studied. It becomes something that can educate the right people and move them to making a buying decision, a specific buying decision about your specific product. So the more you know about your particular industry, the more you know about, hey, your particular, let's say, website building tool, what it can do, what it can't do, what it specializes in, and little tips and tricks as to how to, optimize it and cut the website building time frame down, right? That becomes an asset to you. That's the information. And that's what makes that particular product of yours more attractive, more of a need than just this cup of coffee right here that's from a local shop, that's from, you know, a Starbucks, or even when it comes to, say, talking about websites, going from having a WordPress website as compared to a Wix website, or compared to a ClickFunnels website, or a Go High Level website. Yeah, there's cheap versions of stuff, there's more expensive versions of stuff, but the, the entrepreneur studies why people use this version as compared to that version. And in your business, more than likely, there's a competitor. There's another product that's similar, has similar features. It might have a different style. It might look different, might be made of different materials, but it's on you to discover and do the research about your product as compared to the other product. Is yours made out of plastic? Theirs made out of metal? Hmm. Theirs a lot more expensive than yours because of this. Yours is less expensive, but maybe yours might be considered the cheaper version, but that doesn't mean that it's not quality. Now, your value to it could be the fact that yours is cheap, right? And the normal person that buys that particular brand, it only lasts for, let's say, 6 months as compared to the person that buys the metal brand and it lasts for a year. But your particular value proposition could be that you're sharing the information on how to make your version last 2 times longer than the more expensive version. Because there's ways. Now, some people, they're just careless with certain products and appliances and things like that. And this goes back to your real life experience. We've all been kids, and depending on how old you are, you might have kids. And you know for a fact that your kids can possibly destroy anything you put in front of them, whether it's made out of plastic or whether it's made out of metal. You can leave them with that toy for a day or a couple of hours, and you could come back and you find that somehow they broke it. Somehow they destroyed it. And then some of us, you could have kids that, they have toys and things that, you know, you might have gotten out of a dollar store and it's still operating a month later, 2 months later, and they haven't broken it yet. And there's a couple of valuable things in that. There, hey, when you talking about that, that gives me an idea how to be able to save money on expensive toys, how to avoid going in debt from buying your kids expensive toys, being able to make your dollar store purchases last for 6 months as compared to 24 hours with your child that destroys everything. Now, would a parent purchase that particular document? Would they purchase something that may, in fact, save them hundreds or thousands of dollars? Because when they think about it, hey, they know that their kids, they really don't care about brand. They don't care about name brands and stuff like that, depending on the age range. They just want something to play with and, you know, to occupy their attention. But once when that thing is broke, then they have to replace it with something else. And then it becomes a non-asset to the parent, right? They have to replace it. So if you can target parents that want to have a real asset, something that can be, that can last them a lot longer, or, keep them from having to make such expensive purchases on, the high end version of something because, you know, the so-called cheap version keeps getting broken. Maybe it's something that they need to learn about their children. Maybe it's a method or tactic that they need to employ that will make those toys or whatever it is last longer. So that method can be applied to anything. And I just titled this the hot coffee theory because, you know, we're using coffee as our specific thing of focus, but the information is the same for everything. So I want you to make a decision today on Decision Day Wednesday as to what is it that you are actually promoting? What is your product? What is your service? And are you promoting it as a non-asset, or are you promoting it in a way that it becomes a real asset for you? Now, this physical cup of coffee, if this was a physical cup of coffee, you drink it up, it'd be gone in a matter of minutes. The effects from it would be over in a matter of hours, and you won't have anything left. You have to buy another cup of coffee. But this digital cup of coffee, this picture, it never goes away. You don't need to drink it in order for it to give you energy. All you need to do is be able to convey the proper information about it to the right people. And if you provide it to them in the right way and they decide to consume that actual product, then you will have a profitable business. And with the profitable business, depending on, how profitable it is, buying this physical cup of coffee on a daily basis, you won't really care if it's a non-asset because the value exchange makes it so that it's it's an expense, but it's not too much of a costly expense. It's not something that you really worry about because some people on this non-asset side, seeing as though they don't have a way to make this an asset, this becomes to some people a financial burden because some people, they are so emotionally driven, habit driven, and they end up saying, hey, I don't want that dollar cup of coffee from Dunkin' Donuts. I want that $7 to $10 cup of coffee from Starbucks on a daily basis. Every day they need that. And at the end of a month, at the end of a 30-day month, that could end up being $30. Well, well, you wish, but $300 in expenses. $300 worth of non-asset expenses. And seeing as though it's a habit, they might not even care, or they might not have the ability to cut it off. But this right here, this asset right here, it's a free asset. It's digital, but it does require you to make an investment in your information bank. And that, that thing between your ears into your brain, and how you can actually turn that non-asset into a real asset. Now, if you're interested in learning more about how to turn non-assets into actual assets, and how I was able to turn a $7 investment, a simple $7 investment, which I could have used to buy a non-asset like a cup of coffee from Starbucks, but I decided to take that $7 investment and turn it into a real asset. If you're interested in doing the same, I want you to comment asset, ASSET. And I want to send you access to an exclusive system that will teach you even more skills that you can build upon and apply to what you have learned today. And once when you apply those skills to what you've learned today, you'll be able to take this cup of coffee, if you like, and turn it into a profitable online business, or anything that you see within your grasp. You can turn the hat on your head, you could turn your cell phone, you could turn your pillow, you can turn your couch, you can turn anything that you want into an asset. But all it takes is the right mindset first in order to be able to see the opportunity, and it takes the right skills. Skills are endless. They don't deplete. You don't empty out your skill base, your skill bank like a cup of coffee. Once when it's in your head, hopefully you keep it there. You'll always have the knowledge, and you'll be able to apply it over and over and over again. So if you're interested in getting access to the system, well, you should know how to do that. It starts right here. And it further solidifies why the Hustlers 10-Minute a Day Challenge document is the most valuable document in all of online marketing, because it gives you access to that same system right here, in what I consider to be the second line in the document. That line that says grab your mega link. For just a one-time investment of $7, you'll be able to get access to foundational skills that you can use to help apply to this knowledge that you gain today. So with that, I hope you guys have enjoyed today's live. I hope the right person has received this message and is willing to take action. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next live and on all of our future trainings, from myself, my business partner, Mr. Wayne Crow, and anybody else that we actually partner with that can help give you valuable insight that you can apply. So let's close out like we always do. And, you know, this one right here, I'm gonna have to watch it again myself, because, of course, repetition. I'm saying it to you guys one time in this live, right? But I want you to come back to this live, and I want you to watch it again and again and again, so that you can catch the things that you might have missed. And I'm also, I might catch it with you, because I can always learn something new, even from myself. So with that, I hope you guys have enjoyed. I'm gonna fade to the back, and we're gonna close out. And I hope you have a great rest of your day.
up to silence. Dreams still heavy. Phone screen dry, but my vision stays steady. Mama said, baby, that job ain't your lane. But I clocked in anyway, chasing someone else's gain. That got me dancing with denial at night. Scrolling for hope, but it's hidden from sight. 10 minutes a day, sounded small at first. But in silence, even whispers can't quench a thirst. Notebook in hand, wrote my future in ink. Mapped out my mission before I started to sink. Every post was a prayer, every share had weight. I wasn't selling a link, I was shifting fate. I found my rhythm in the quietest place, where hustle meant healing and grind meant grace. From the corner of doubt, I carved my space. Legacy ain't loud, but it wins the race. 10 minutes a day, brick by brick, built from the bottom, now the vision stick. No hype, no cap, just clarity. This ain't just income, it's legacy. Every click, every song I create etches my name where they can't erase. You can doubt, but you gon' see. 10 minutes a day turned into legacy. People laugh, said she doing too much. Till my PayPal pinged and they changed up the touch. No big brand, no six-figure crew, just a mic, some lyrics, and a dream that grew. Tired of waiting for the gatekeeper's call, so I built my own stage, held my own hall. Suno on deck, that's the beat in my chest. GPT spitting like I'm born to impress. Said I'd never make it, cool, noted. But now my bars turn pain into coated. From broken to branded, I ain't asked for fame, I asked for freedom and I claim my name now. Hustle berry on loop like healing chance, for the girls who grew up with limited chance. This is more than a challenge, it's breaking the chain. Cause 10 minutes a day rewired my brain. 10 minutes a day, brick by brick, built from the bottom, now the vision stick. No hype, no cap, just clarity. This ain't just income, it's legacy. Every click, every song I create etches my name where they can't erase. You can doubt, but you gon' see. 10 minutes a day turned into legacy. Now my daughter sees me different, eyes full of fire. She said, Ma, your words lift me higher. This ain't a hustle, this a heart-led path, where math meets message and message meets math. Community over clicks, value over hype. I ain't here to trend, I'm here to type. Blueprints for the ones still stuck in fear. Let them borrow my belief till their purpose clear. Haters still quiet, but I'm loud with grace. Posting in peace, not a mask on my face. Every bar I drop, every beat